Hey everyone, this is Jeff from Metal Guy Reacts, back to bring you another reaction video. Today, I'm checking out some more Pentatonix. This is them doing, this came out recently, a 90s medley. Really excited to check this out. Their last couple tunes I've listened to have been so good, and their Daft Punk medley was so good. I mean, that just blew my mind. So super stoked to check this out. I actually grew up in the 90s. I was a little kid, you know, throughout most of the 90s. But, you know, it was my heyday. It's when I grew up. It's when I went through elementary school. All that stuff was throughout the 90s. So real excited to see what sort of songs they jump on and what they do. So let's just jump right into this. This is Pentatonix doing a 90s medley.
Wanna be my lover, yeah, hey, wanna be my, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more.
All right, we're 30 seconds in and I'm already loving this. These songs, like these first couple songs that are in here already, are some of the catchiest tunes from the 90s. So you didn't even have to be like a dance, you know, a 90s dance fan to know these tunes. These tunes, if you even heard them once or twice in the 90s, they're stuck in your head. God, this is so good so far. So much is happening, and it's only been 1 minute and 30 seconds. They have jumped into so many catchy tunes from the 90s. And if you don't dance to this, I mean, I don't know if you can feel music. Like, the beats in these are fantastic. I have so many thoughts that I'm probably going to have to share at the end. But they are just killing this. This is so good. And Mitch is handling a lot of parts that were done by either like synths or other things, if I remember right, in these tunes originally in the 90s.
Your love, it feels so good. That's what takes me high, higher than I've been before. It's you I'm always thinking of. Oh, baby, I still hear your voice when you sleep next to me. I still feel your touch in my
I'm sincerely blown away again. Like they've done this to me a few times where I'm slowly starting to lose things to say because I'm getting so absorbed in this.
I still feel your touch in my dreams. Forgive me my weakness, but I don't know why. Without you, it's hard to survive. 'Cause every time we touch, I get this feeling, and every time we kiss, I swear I could fly. Can't you hear my heart beat fast? I want this to last. Need you by
Guys, like this is throwing me back to my childhood so much because every one of these songs I'm almost starting to sing with, and you definitely don't want to hear that. So I'm trying so hard not to sing along. But also, too, it's interesting to think about this. Me as a metal, I'll get into it at the end. I'll get into the in the end, but I have some thoughts about just the timing of when these songs came out and me.
Try. You keep pushing me aside and I can't break through. There's no talking to you. It's so sad that you leave.
Yeah, again, if you don't dance to all of this, guys, I don't know what is going on with you. Like, these are all obviously 90s dance medley. It makes sense, but you just gotta move.
Into you. It's so sad that you're leaving. Takes time to believe it. But after all is said and done, you're gonna be the lonely one. Oh, do you believe love? I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think you're strong enough. No. La da dee, la da da, la da dee, la da da, la da dee, la da da, la da dee, la da da. Finally, you came along. The way I feel about you, it just can't be wrong. If you only knew the way I feel about you, I just can't describe it. Oh no, no, finally it has happened to me right in front of my face. My feelings can't describe it. Finally it has happened to me right in front of my face, and I just cannot hide it. La da da dee da 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 da. La da da dee da 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 da.
Well, that was a roller coaster of 90s nostalgia. Man, I am absolutely blown away. I mean, they never cease to amaze me, but this one especially just hit home for me. And kind of what I was going to say in the middle is that when I was growing up in the 90s, it's just my musical interests have varied, but in the beginning, I was listening to what my brothers and sisters listened to. You know, my brothers were listening to a lot of grunge in the 90s. I mean, in the early 90s and mid 90s, grunge was huge. Bands like Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, stuff like that. Alice in Chains. Oh my God, Alice in Chains. Still some of my favorite bands, but during that time, that's what I was listening to. And then my sister was listening to a lot of pop hits. So she was listening to a lot of this stuff. So that's where I was getting a lot of my musical interest from, was my brothers and my sister. And I was just, kind of gathering up my own thoughts and ideas. But then very early in the 2000s, when I was like 12, I think it was like 2002, 2001, was when I first heard the band Metallica. And that's what kind of turned me on to listening to metal. And then I've been a metalhead ever since. But before that, yeah, it was grunge and a lot of pop hits. So anyway, I mean, I grew up in an era where all these 90s songs were playing constantly. So I had to do my best not to sing along to all of these. Lyrics stick in my head super well. So these types of songs get stuck with you forever. I honestly would listen to them do covers of just about every one of those songs that were in there. Blue is in there. I mean, this is going to be a hard one to give a lot of thoughts to because I am just blown away by everybody's performances. Everybody did so amazing. So Scott came in as usual. He handled a lot of those beautiful baritone parts from a lot of those songs, and he's got such a great soulful voice, and that's one thing I'm really starting to love about him. At least, that mid-range of his is actually really good. Like, he's got a great, just this thick baritone range. I'll have to rewatch it a couple more times, but it kind of looked like both Kevin and Matt were handling different parts of not necessarily the beatboxing, but what became instruments, as well as Mitch handled a little bit of that too, it sounded like. And usually, obviously Mitch soars into the clouds, but man, he soared up there and then handled a lot of parts that I think were originally handled by actual sopranos or very, by women with high voices, and he just cruised through them like it was nothing. Man, and Kirsten's voice came out as just absolutely amazing as usual. Again, I can't say it enough. The power that she has behind her voice is so good. This became another one of those videos where I just had to go down the line and say a couple things about everybody. Everybody just knocks out. I mean, I'm in nostalgia city right now, guys. Like, I am just blown away by that piece. That might actually be, I've had to say it like 3 or 4 times now, but that might be one of my favorite tunes by them now. Just it just soaked in 90s. And I've looked up a little information about each member, and I think they're all kind of in that age range where they would have been young in the 90s, kind of like me, or, maybe, a little later than that. But I think they're all in their upper 20s, right? Or maybe early 30s. But yeah, I'll look into that as well, because I think they sang this with a bit of that nostalgic feel too. I wanted to ask everybody as well, because it sounded like when they were covering Cher's Believe, it sounded like they did put auto-tune on, but they put auto-tune on as an effect because that's the sound that it makes. And that was like, when Cher originally did that song, it was kind of infamous for this auto-tune sound, but it was a choice because obviously Cher can sing, so can all the members of this group. They were just using it as a cool sounding effect. I've had a few people ask me in the comments, because I do some sound work, I've played in bands, to comment a little more on the way these recordings are done and stuff like that. But I've also had some people say that like they don't want to talk about any of that stuff. So if that's stuff you guys want to hear more about, let me know in the comments below. It's always fun to dig into what bands actually do. Again, everyone in this band is such a strong singer that I'm sure they don't need to do a whole heck of a lot to their voices to get them to sound like this. And still want some more live reactions. So people sent me live videos to react to, and some people sent me some, so I'm going to be diving into those here soon. But I just saw this pop up in my feed since I'm subscribed to their channel. I was like, 90s medley, I gotta check it out. So super stoked. This one has me energized to the max, so I'm so thankful you guys sent it to me. If you get a quick minute, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm checking out Pentatonix stuff, checking out other like pop groups, K-pop groups, hip-hop, rap, all sorts of fun stuff. Again, just being a heavy metal fan for the last, oh good lord, 18 years or so, I'm catching up on a lot of this great music. So come check out some new music with me, and I'll catch you in my next reaction video.